Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show. Now, admittedly, we did miss last week because of scheduling, but typically it's weekly.
Weekly-ish.
Weekly-ish. We're actually recording this a day earlier than we normally do, due to other things we have to do tomorrow, but since we didn't have an episode last week, it meant there was a lot of news that had piled up anyway. Don't worry, this is not going to be skimpy.
Okay.
I have a runtime in mind that I think this is going to hit. So I'll tell you at the end if we hit it or not.
Okay.
So yes, we talk about TV news. We talk about renewals, premieres, cancellations, shows in development, pilot orders, all that kind of stuff. And that'll take as long as it takes. And at the end of the show, we'll tell you what's coming up in terms of TV. Sometimes we'll pick our favourite episode of TV of the week if there was more than one that wasn't a DC show, and we'll do
Was there this week?
No, as per last week, there was the Star Trek, and that was about it.
And because we're recording this a day early,
We haven't
even had Star Trek this week.
Yes, because Star Trek is airing tonight as we record. It's not aired yet; it's airing in a few hours. But yeah. So there you go. So we'll get straight into it. We have a lot of things to get through. First up, we have some renewals to just fire through. Jack Ryan has been renewed for season 3 at Amazon.
Season 3 already? Man, they're really trying to get Krasinski locked in.
Yeah, they'd already renewed it for season 2 before season 1 aired. So
I remember that, yeah, because it was right after A Quiet Place.
So season 3 has now been renewed. So if you like Jack Ryan, you get more of it.
Fair enough. Can't blame them. Must have been a reasonable hit for them.
Yeah, I mean we were lukewarm. I mean it had some fun elements, but
I like it well enough that if we're quiet enough when it hits again, I'm happy to watch more.
If it's not quiet though, then it's the easy one that gets cut.
Yeah, obviously. But if it's like nothing else on, sure.
So, next up, Project Blue Book's been renewed at History for season 2.
Fair enough. Guess some people enjoyed that more than we did.
Well,
we didn't hate it, but there must be people who are watching it.
It wasn't terrible. It was just kind of serviceable and nothing. Done nothing more for us. Also renewed was Walking Dead at AMC for season 10.
Of course it was.
Also renewed at ABC for its 11th and final season as Modern Family.
Final though.
Final, yeah. I mean, 11's a pretty solid run for a comedy. I feel like, I think both Cheers and Frasier both went for 11 seasons.
Sounds about right.
Friends went for 10.
Yeah.
It's up there with those kind of shows in terms of its length. So, I've not seen Modern Family since like maybe the end of season 3, and I enjoyed it well enough. It wasn't like amazing, like it wasn't like must see comedy, but it's the sort of thing that I'll probably binge at some point just because there's 11 seasons of it.
Fair enough. I get that,
and it's enjoyable enough. But yeah, and the final renewal this week, not a show we talk about a lot, but I think this is worth mentioning for the obvious reasons. The Simpsons has been renewed for both season 31 and season 32 at Fox.
Yeah. That's a lot of seasons.
It is.
That's a lot of seasons.
It's older than me.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird. The Simpsons has literally been on TV my entire life. It is bizarre that it's still going.
Yeah. I will say as well, Family Guy and Bob's Burgers both got renewed today as well.
Oh, did they? They didn't seem as important, though, you mentioned.
I mean, Family Guy's going into what, like 18?
Is it at 18?
I think so.
Has it really been going for like 20 years?
Yeah, Family Guy will return for its 18th season, yeah.
Jeez.
And Bob's Burgers is going into season 10.
That may be close to 20 years, though, because it got cancelled twice early on. So they may have skipped
it,
a little
didn't
bit.
It?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, well. That's good to know.
So, I mean, both of those are reasonably respectable. Getting up there.
Yeah, I'm clearing my glasses casually as I'm in between news stories here.
Yeah, I could see you looking at them a little bit ago.
They were annoying me.
Yeah, do they need doing? You were judging if you could get away with them. Clearly not.
They were bugging me.
You're like, I ain't sitting here for 90 minutes with these on. That was it.
You think this is going to be 90 minutes? That's cute. Moving on to the cancellations, though. Counterpart was cancelled. It stars after 2 seasons.
I know there are a lot of people who tell us it got a lot better in the second season.
Yeah, people really like it. People were saying that it really picked up, and they were really loving season 2. In fact, the season 2 finale is about to air
Is
this
it?
week. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was done already. But I mean, so we don't even know if it has a proper ending or something that works as an ending yet.
Yeah. But they said they were going to shop it around to other networks, though, the production company.
I'll
So,
see what happens. Maybe.
so they're looking for more. They want to continue it. So we'll see what happens. But also ending. Although these next two weren't phrased as cancellations. But I am dubious as to whether they actually planned it to be an ending when they made the seasons, or if they're just phrasing it this way now to try and make it look better. But AMC, they're ending Into the Badlands, the second half of season 3, which is coming up soon.
I didn't realise that was still going.
Nor did I. It also feels like it's been going on long enough that it should be more than 3 seasons at this point. But
yeah, I do wonder.
Yeah,
because that was a long time ago that started, or it feels like it.
But obviously they've split some of the seasons in half at the very least. This one, so maybe that's how it's been going on so long. The Sun's also ending with season 2, which is not aired yet. That was the Pierce Brosnan one that we didn't like.
Yeah, we tried that, and it was just generic AMC show.
It was just really bland. It was a bizarre thing. And then the final thing that was announced as ending, although they're saying this was a planned ending, and I'm inclined to somewhat believe them here. Legion is ending with season 3. Apparently Noah Hawley always intentioned this to be 3 seasons.
I can believe that this time.
Yeah. It kind of makes me frustrated though with some of the what I'd call filler in season 2. If there was a planned ending in mind, and they were adding episodes to season 2 like that, that's kind of weird.
It does. I'm annoyingly really not excited about season 3 whatsoever.
Yeah. I like season 1 so much, and season 2 did have some great high points. Like even the finale, that behind blue eyes fight was phenomenal, but it left me in such a weird sour place with the show.
I was at a point where if they went, there's no more, I'd go, all right then. I wouldn't have had the if they told me that after season 1, I'd have been pretty devastated.
Do you know what the sad part is that it's not like it's got a proper ending. It has a very open ending. Like they have to finish this story. But I kind of agree. Had they cancelled it after season 2, I'd have been like, okay then.
Yeah. I should be really upset based on where it was in the story, but I probably wouldn't have been.
But yeah, so on to some premiere dates then. Handmaid's Tale, we have season 3's premiere date. It's a bit later this year than it has been the last couple. It's going to premiere on June 5th, and they're doing that thing where they put out 3 episodes in the first week, and then 1 per week after that. So,
do we know how many episodes it is this year?
I imagine it'll be the same as last year.
Yeah, okay. Because it went up for season 2, right?
Yeah, it was 13 last year. So that sounds right to me. It sounds like you get 3 the first week, and then there's 10 more weeks of singles.
Well, yeah. 9 more weeks, right?
No, there's 13 episodes.
10 more weeks. Yeah, you're right.
Simple math. Connor's struggling here.
I'm getting there.
I mean, it's only actually because last year they put 2 out in the first week, so it's only actually 1 more in the first week compared to last year.
It is, but I don't like.
2 feels normal. 3 feels weird. I get it, but that's what it is.
2 I can accept. People do a double pilot all the time, or double premiere.
Yeah,
sure.
Double premiere and finale. Those are normal.
It often frustrates me a little bit, just in terms of scheduling, but I get it. 3 is excessive because it's clearly then no, this is 3 episodes, not just.
The only problem I have with it, right, because obviously we watch the episode, then we review it, we have a bit of time in between each one. The way it works out with this show, I meing, this is what happened in season 1 when they did this, is that the pacing feels like it slows right down after episode 4, because we do 1 the day or day after it airs, right, and then 2 days later we'll do 2 days later we'll do 3, and then 2 days later it'll be time for episode 4, because it's by that point it's been long enough that it's been episode 4's out, and then after episode 4 it's like you get a full week. So the pacing feels really quick for 4 episodes, and then it just slows right down after that.
Yeah, it just stops.
So that's my complaint with it, but other than that it's just whatever. So
it must be whatever it is. It must be working for them because they keep doing it.
Yeah, they like that. I think it's because it's if they're enticing new subscribers up, it's like here's a batch of episodes, and then
even for you, like if you're going, here, get your free trial, it's like no, 3 episodes, you'll be hooked.
Yeah,
right?
Because I can't remember if Hulu do a month free or some places do 2 weeks free and stuff like that. Yeah. If it's let's say it's a week or 2 free, then it's like no, you get 3 in that first week, so you
make the most of that, but then stick around for the rest.
I get it. Also, Hulu, they've announced the premiere date for Catch 22, which is the limited series. We've been hearing about this for a long time, actually. This is George Clooney who's in this. It's going to premiere on May 17th. So,
okay.
So that's coming. We got a premiere date for season 1 of Hanna. Obviously, we already did episode 1. They put a preview of that for the Super Bowl, but the full season is coming on March 29th, so we'll be covering that when that hits.
Yeah, I'm shocked at how late this, because obviously we knew it was March, and with them giving us that first episode pretty early in February, I thought, okay, it'll be relatively early March as well, because about a month to 5 or 6 weeks early is kind of normal. We get these previews from a lot of places now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
close to 2 months.
It's never been Amazon though. It's always been other cable companies.
No, it has.
Stuff.
As I said, but that's kind of in the general kind of time frame to expect is about a month. This being closer to 2 months feels like a long time. Even though there's no precedent for Amazon doing it this way.
Yeah. But say so. That's March 29th, if I can speak properly, for Hanna season 1.
Oh, we're getting a real spring slate starting to show up, aren't we?
Yes. Speaking of, March 15th on Netflix, Love, Death and Robots, which is a animated anthology show, which is 18 individual stories. Which they said animated shorts, which makes me think this could be anything from like 10 to 30-minute episodes, depending on the.
Yeah, could be. I have no idea. We'll find out in a few weeks.
Well, they put out a trailer for it, but the trailer honestly is
just quick cuts. It did do a good job of telling me they're all very different styles of animation, though.
Yeah, because it's cutting between them all, and they all have very different looks to them. And it also lets you know it's very mature. Like this is not a kids' cartoon. This is going to be full of violence.
I know. This is from Miller and Finch, who are presenting this.
What Miller are we talking about?
Tim
Miller. Okay.
Yeah.
I would never have jumped to Tim Miller when you said Miller.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
There's Fincher.
Yeah.
Well, you said Finch, so I'm clarifying this for people because it's David Fincher.
I had a moment, clearly.
Yes.
Yeah, but the pair of them are the ones presenting this. I assume that means they're the producers.
Yes. That's 30 seconds I'm never getting back.
Yeah. I don't know how much creative control they've had or any input.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems kind of interesting. The weird thing about that is though is it's not even like I'm hesitant to say that we'll cover it because I'm like, even if we hate episode 1, theoretically we should still give a chance to all the rest of them because they're all different creators doing them.
Yeah. It's gonna depend on how long. If these are 10 minutes long, sure. If they're all 30 minutes, 18 a lot of them is a lot.
And then the question becomes though, if after 10 minutes each, like how much conversation are we going to get out of a 10-minute thing?
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what this is before we decide.
Well, yeah, we'll kind of decide on the date. Although, if people feel strongly one way or the other, mainly if you really want to hear us, tell us, and I'm gonna say why.
Yeah, we'll probably do the first one no matter what, just because first episodes from Netflix tend to be.
Yeah, and then maybe if we're not covering them all, but people go, no, this is the one that you need to watch. We'll maybe check out that one as well.
Yeah, maybe. And then finally, also Netflix, Santa Clarita Diet. Season 3 is going to premiere on March 29th, which is the same day as Hanna. But we don't like that show, and we like to look at Hanna, so we'll be checking out Hanna on that day.
Yep.
But so that's premiere dates for you. And we can move on to some news. So this first thing's not got a lot going on here, but it's relating to something big. Apple, they're launching their streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
The scuttlebutt is from the Business Insiders is that it's going to be a springtime launch.
That's soon.
Yeah, because we're in February, so we're nigh on spring.
That's very soon for Apple not to have said anything yet.
I don't know, like how soon did they announce their new iPhones before they ship them out? Like how
they usually have a thing in September announcing it, don't they? They have a conference every year.
And when does it come out? Like a month later?
Within a month, yeah.
I wonder if they want a similar kind of like window of like anticipation where they come out with a big splash and say, this is what it's called, this is what it looks like, this is what it is.
Yeah, maybe.
It's available in 3 weeks' time and it's launching with these 5 shows or whatever,
Could be.
I could see them doing something like that. Also, there's some buzz here about they want it to be a hub where you could log into a lot of other services you have, kind of like how Amazon have with like the Kindle Fire. You can like log into Netflix on that. You can log into other things.
Right. Okay. I thought you were referring more to Kindle, not Kindle, Amazon's. Their channels thing that they have.
No, I mean maybe it'll be like that. Maybe I'm misreading this. But they're saying Amazon or Roku, and I feel like Roku means it probably means it's more of an app hub.
Yeah, okay.
But the
Yeah,
idea is
I'm
you can
with you.
just log into the one thing, and assuming you've logged in at least once with everything else, I imagine you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
just um, which I guess makes sense. I mean, I'm still highly curious about the rollout of this service, and um, you know,
Pricing will be interesting, won't
is there a PS4 app, for example?
it? Yes. Some people really slack in that department.
They do, and I feel like this. And I don't necessarily need a PS4 app specifically. I'm just using that as an example of will it be nice and available on multiple platforms? Because it should be if they really wanted to hit big.
Yes, and obviously like Netflix, for example, is everywhere, right?
Yes,
Apple are notorious for doing their own thing.
they are. I do think this is maybe the thing though that'll change that if it's going to, because it's the same. Because I mean, iTunes is on Windows, so there is some.
There is, and even something like Apple Music, right, is on Android now, but it was
Yes.
exclusive to Apple products for a while first. Maybe they'll do something like that with their launch, like, hey, get it on, Macs, Apple TVs first.
I imagine you'll still be able to get it on PCs at the very least, whatever it is.
Potentially, yeah, yeah. I'd have thought so, but then I'm not willing to guarantee it. Not willing to put money on that.
Anyway, on other news, this is much more interesting news actually. This is exciting news.
Oh,
So
good.
this is technically a movie, but I actually think this is more suited to TV news.
Okay, yeah.
Right? I think it's more relevant
You
to.
say exciting. I have other opinions.
You have other opinions, okay?
Mm.
So we're talking about Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is getting a sequel movie, which is going to be written and directed by Vince Gilligan. It is going to star Aaron Paul. Well, at least I think that's more rumored right now, but it seems like it's pretty nailed down. And the news this week is that it's going to be going straight to Netflix, although it will air on AMC as well after the fact, but it is going to be mainly a Netflix thing. So it's a sequel movie starring Aaron Paul as Jesse.
Yeah,
Why are you down on this?
I just I'm a little conflicted because obviously, it's Sicilian, right? I mean, it
That's
should
why.
be exciting,
Yeah, that's why.
and I get that.
I have no negative thoughts because Vince Gilligan's doing it. Therefore,
I get that.
I
but
trust.
in my head, I'm still like, I don't want a sequel to Breaking. I don't need a sequel to Breaking Bad.
You don't need a prequel either. But Better
No, I
Call Saul's
didn't, and
fantastic.
it turned out all right. But it had to win me over. I went into that not expecting. No. When I went into that first episode, I was going, all right, okay, it's got to win me over.
And it almost immediately did.
Sure. But this is a sequel now, and I quite liked the ending of where that set off. I just leave it open. It's fine. I don't need any more. So this has got work to do to justify its existence to me.
I trust Gilligan.
Fair enough.
I love why you respectable, and the way you phrased that as well. Yeah, Better Call Saul turned out all right. All right, my arse. That show is not all right. That show is fantastic. It's one of the best things on TV.
It is now. The first season was pretty good. It wasn't like, oh, this is amazing immediately.
Yeah, but it was good enough to justify its existence immediately.
Within a few episodes. Yeah.
God, you're such a cynical prick at
I
times.
am, but people know this.
I am excited because of who's involved. The fact that Aaron Paul's all but confirmed to be starring in this is also really exciting. I think this is kind of interesting, and I wonder if it would lead to more. Like, is this going to be completely self-contained? Is this kind of the start of a trilogy or something like that? You know, like how much is planned for this? I'm curious, but given how they took Saul and turned it into Better Call Saul, I am fairly comfortable with this, and especially since I am inherently less weary of a sequel than I am a prequel. Prequels, because Better Call Saul is the prequel that broke the mold, because prequels almost always suck. It almost always feel unjustified in their existence. Sequels, well, there's a lot of bad sequels in the world, there definitely is. There's also a lot of good sequels. Sequels, because they're moving the story forward, naturally can do their own new thing or advance things in a way, and they feel a bit more natural as an idea.
Fair enough. I mean, like I said, for me, it was, this was such a nice ending, right? Of, okay, no, just leave it at that for me. That I don't want to see anymore after that at the minute. So it's got to win me over.
Okay. We'll end on that negative point. No, I try to keep things light and cheery, but he has to bring things down. Moving on,
Balance.
we have some casting for Good Omens, the Amazon show, the Neil Gaiman thingamajig. We have a date as well. It's coming out May 31st. Although I feel like that's already been a thing that's been established.
And we've just missed it.
Because the way this article just sort of casually says that, as if it was already known.
Yeah, I saw that as well, and I was like, I don't think we knew. Like, I don't remember knowing that. So I guess we missed it whenever it came out with that announcement. But hey, we know now.
Yeah, so Good Omens is coming May 31st, and it's going to star Benedict Cumberbatch in at least one episode as, well, Satan.
It's pretty good casting.
It said there'll be a giant animated Satan, so he's going to be voicing and presumably...
He's got a great voice for it.
Possibly mocapping as well, depending on what the thing is. Apparently, we're going to have similar kind of like one-episode cameos from Jack Whitehall, Michael McKean, speaking of Better Call Saul, Miranda Richardson, John Hamm, and Nick Offerman, so...
I like most of those.
Yeah. I'm still trepidatious about this show.
That's fair.
Because I didn't really like American Gods that much. And while it's not the same showrunner, I'm a little concerned it's just Neil Gaiman's concepts that I'm not super into.
It's possible, yeah.
And I have to admit, I'm honestly not necessarily that fussed about. What is it? It's like an angel and a anti-angel?
So. Something like that.
What'd you call a hellbird? A demon, I guess. Yes,
demon?
Angel and a demon, yes.
Yeah.
Demon's the word I'm looking for, yes.
It is. The problem is you're conjuring these images of demonic things,
yes.
right? When you say that word. But I mean, I think traditionally you go with fallen angel.
Sure, yeah.
But I mean, demon kind of works.
Yeah.
It's not really your sort of concept, though, is it? On premise.
Nah, mystical and fantastical. It's
We'll
not
try
really
it.
my thing. Oh, we'll try it for sure. Like, I'm not saying we won't, but I'm not like super excited about it based on, even though it's got an interesting cast, even though it's got things behind it that should make it good. Speaking of casting news, though, we have Jane Levi has been cast in the NBC pilot Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Now, obviously, this is not typically, we don't necessarily come back to casting for a lot of network shows that are in development or have had.
But you like Jane Levi?
Well, actually, no. There's actually more to this. Is why I put it. I do like Jane Levi, admittedly. Jane Levi means that I'd be actually curious to try this.
Yeah.
Just because she's involved. However, the pilot for this was meant to be directed by Paul Feig. However, for scheduling conflict reasons, he has had to pull out, and now Richard Shepard is going to be directing the pilot.
Okay, it's a step down, I suppose, for most people.
I don't know who Richard Shepard is. It may be a step up.
Which is why I would say for most people it would be a step down, because he's a relative unknown quantity.
I don't like most of Paul Feig's things though, so I think an unknown for me is actually a step up.
Yeah, for you, as I said, for most people.
There's a possibility.
I'd say a lot of people like him.
Now there's a door of possibility open.
Yeah,
it could be worse. I mean, he could be terrible for all I know, but there's a possibility.
Could be just here, get a generic TV director in, right?
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, to be honest.
It's
for
not.
TV.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, so Levi will play Zoe Harris, described as a socially awkward, smart, charming, type A, whip-smart coder with a nervous energy and an impressive ability to talk a lot. Yeah. If you remember, this is she hears other people's thoughts in the form of songs.
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah, this is this one. That's why it's called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. I remember the title clearly.
Yes. So this is on NBC. Because I think NBC can make a decent show from time to time. It's been a while, admittedly, but
what was the last decent? I mean,
not
like
comedies.
2/3 of Hannibal.
I associate NBC more with the comedies, to be honest, admittedly, but
I do as well. But in terms of, I mean, I like 2/3 of Hannibal a lot.
Yeah, I was in the minority, but I wasn't as hot on it.
Yeah, but you just don't like Fuller.
That's true. I really don't.
You just don't.
People were upset Pushing Daisies died. I was like, yeah, kill it with fire.
I love Pushing Daisies. So good.
Anyway, so here's something. So we're onto something of an animated block now.
Okay.
So here's something.
The big headline, yeah.
You know how CBS All Access are doing Star Trek stuff, and they're wanting to have Star Trek all year long?
They're not the only ones who want to slice that pie, are they?
Apparently not. Nickelodeon, who are in part the same company as Paramount, which are in part CBS, although CBS, apparently, I think Paramount's trying to buy CBS like outright right now.
Oh, really?
I think I heard that. Anyway, regard that if it's false. But
We'll come back to it if it gets confirmed.
so CBS Television Studios and Nickelodeon are negotiating for a new Star Trek animated series that's aimed at kids. So what's worth mentioning is there an animated series coming on CBS All Access that is not aimed at kids, that is aimed at adults. What was the fact? Yeah, the one that was. Yes, Star Trek Lower Decks is the one that's been ordered for CBS All Access, created by Rick and Morty writer Mike McMahon. It will focus on the support crew of serving on one of Starfleet's least important ships. So that's aimed at your older audience.
It's an animated sitcom, basically.
Yeah, the one for Nickelodeon will be aimed at kids, and it's got Kevin and Dan Hageman. The Hagemans are known for their work on animated shows Ninjago, Masters of Spinjitzu, and Troll Hunters. They also worked on the story for the films for Hotel Transylvania, the Lego Movie, and the Lego Ninjago movie.
Troll Hunters was the Del Toro Netflix one, I'm pretty sure. Am I mixing that up with something?
I don't know.
Sure, that was Troll Hunters.
I don't really keep track of all the animated stuff Netflix put out.
That one was quite good, if that's the one I'm thinking of.
Well, maybe this will be good then. Maybe this will be...
I can't speak to Ninjago.
Now, obviously, we do cover Star Trek stuff. We've kind of made a bit of an ongoing thing out of it. I suppose we'd try this, which would be the first thing we've ever reviewed from Nickelodeon.
Yeah, there's a novelty to it.
I don't know if we'd stick with this one, though. If it is aimed at kids, I wonder if it's going to be a bit more
I
formulaic.
like that this exists. I don't think it's going to be for us, but I think this is great for hey kids, what's your Star Trek?
Yeah, get them hooked on Star Trek at a young age.
It's from Paramount's perspective, absolutely this is what you want, right?
Well, because they're hoping that all these kids will grow up and then buy subscriptions to CBS All Access.
Exactly. You're turning them into Trekkies from an early. Basically, they're going, look, we know the parents are doing a pretty good job of that anyway, but we can do better. We can just give them the content directly. We can start ourselves.
Well, the hope is that you'll get all the kids who have parents who don't like Star Trek.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're reaching a new, batch of children.
Yeah.
Batch of kiddies. But that arguably isn't even the biggest animated news this week.
Is it not?
No, because Hulu have announced 4 Marvel animated series aimed at adults.
Oh yes, I saw our new admin on our Twitter make a tweet about this, but I forgot to actually look into it.
The word admin is incorrect. He's a contributor. He does not have administrative privileges.
Fine. He keeps referring to himself as an admin, though, so I'm just letting it slide.
But anyway, so if this sounds similar to what happened with Netflix with their 4 shows, that's because it's almost the exact same thing, bizarrely, except the characters are Howard the Duck, M.O.D.O.K, Monkey, and then another show with Tigra and Dazzler. And
it's a lot lower profile than the Netflix shows.
But the 4th, there'll be a crossover after all the 4 shows have had seasons called The Offenders, which almost feels like it's making fun of Marvel's Netflix shows.
A dig.
So this is so weird. What I think this says to me though is that clearly, we've been talking about how Disney Plus would only be PG-13 at max, right? So there's always been this theory that because Disney have the majority of Hulu now, like they own like 70% of Hulu.
That's the service they'll use for any adult content.
Yeah, and there was even like the next day after this came out, there was already like, hey, articles, Hulu might pick up some of those Netflix shows that got dropped.
They won't. I'm pretty sure there's contractual things that limit that. With the deal with Netflix.
You don't think they'll try? You don't think if they really want one of them, they won't put in the effort?
Maybe they'd have to pay quite a bit to get out that contract, though, with Netflix. Because there was a thing with Netflix's contracts that even if they cancel it, these characters and shows can't be done elsewhere for like at least 3 years or something like that. I remember when that was a big thing when they were all getting cancelled that went around.
They wait 3 years then.
Yeah, maybe they will. Maybe it'll just come in time.
I can see them paying for Daredevil though. I can see the other 3 I can, but Daredevil I can see them really
possibly
paying for.
Yeah, I'm not going to go. Oh, it'll never happen. I'm saying.
Interestingly, the article that I saw when I was browsing specifically said they were thinking about Daredevil and Luke Cage.
It makes sense.
But I wonder if that's just because technically Jessica Jones has not been cancelled yet. Because technically Jessica Jones and Punisher still have other seasons coming.
Yeah,
and therefore are not officially cancelled.
With Luke Cage, it's an easy one to go, well, we can have Iron Fist show up in this one. We can have Jessica Jones show up in this one. Because they're quite linked anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 3 of them through Luke Cage. and then you can have Daredevil just doing his own thing. So it's an easy way of, well, we want the whole group, but we only really need to give them 2 shows to get around it.
Yeah, and Luke Cage wouldn't probably be Luke Cage. It'd just be called Heroes for Hire, I imagine.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless for some contractual reasons they had to call it Luke Cage, but it was just really just that.
Why would they though? Why would Netflix have any stake in the name Heroes for Hire? Surely the name Luke Cage would be the thing they have stakes
No,
in.
but if they're reviving the show specifically, like to do it that way, because it was the characters appearing, not just the show. It was the characters can't appear as well. So maybe there's a reason.
Then what was your whole argument there about? They can have Jessica Jones show up then? They still have to pay for her then if they're going to have her show up.
I'm assuming it's going to get cancelled.
I'm assuming no. But I was saying that they'd only pay for 1 or 2 of them. So you're saying if they're all going to show up, then they'd have to pay for all of them anyway. So what's your point?
They would. But I mean, I'm assuming they'll pay for the characters and not the whole shows as well, though. Like just the rights to the character and not the show. I don't know. I'm assuming that would be cheaper.
I feel like you're making a lot of arguments here, and you don't really know what the contracts are.
There is a vague memory. Clearly,
you're making very, very vague recollections.
Yes, I am. And I feel like this was like 3 months ago.
And I feel like you don't really know what the ins and outs are or what the rules are with them doing stuff with these characters.
I'm no lawyer.
No, because you'll sit there and say this as if you know what you're talking about, and you don't.
No, I said this was a thing I recall reading specifically when the spate of cancellations was going around, like 3 months ago, and it was how the shows and the characters couldn't be used, specifically these versions couldn't be used on other places for X amount. It was 3 or 5 years, whatever it was. That was a thing because it was why they wouldn't just get picked up elsewhere, why they wouldn't just go to Disney Play straight away. Now maybe they'll pay to get out of that, and I assume if it's the characters that they can use, or they can't use, they can pay for that. Maybe if it's both, even if you can pay for the characters but not the show titles, that would be cheaper, right, to get out of.
But you very assuredly said they won't. That's what you said. You stood there and you said they won't, as if you knew what you were talking about.
I stand by that. I've seen a good handful of articles this week also agreeing with that statement.
I don't think they will or they won't. I think it's easily. I'm not saying they will. I don't necessarily think it's a sure thing they will. I just think if they really want to, they can afford to pay to get the rights back.
Disney can afford whatever they want, realistically.
Yeah. So to stand there and go, no, they definitely won't, I think is being far too sure of yourself. When honestly, they can just pay for it if they really want to.
If they really wanted to, yeah. Because Disney could buy pretty much anything in the world if they really wanted to.
Because I would argue the reason why there's not really been any announcements, if they are planning on doing that, is because they're waiting until everything's been cancelled, until everything's done.
Yeah, because that was saying, it was they can't use it for X amount of time. It was X amount of time after the cancellation, not after the last time it aired.
No, but I'm saying even if they're planning on paying for it, even if they're planning on doing something right away, they probably don't want to announce something while there's still seasons to happen on Netflix.
Technically, yeah. Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Yes. Yeah, so
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, most of that was Connor spouting shite. But anyway, to move on to actually talk about the shows that have been picked up here. Howard the Duck will be written and executive produced by Kevin Smith and Dave Willis. In the series, Howard the Duck is trapped in a world never made, but America's favourite fighting Phil hopes to return home with the help of an unstoppable gal pal, Beverly, before the evil Dr. Bong can turn him the crispiest dish on the menu. I assume that's maybe into. There's no into.
I would have assumed so as well. My excitement went up based on Kevin Smith.
My excitement was at 0 and then went down based on Kevin Smith. I'm in negative excitement now. M.O.D.O.K will be written and executive produced by Jordan Bloom and Patton Oswalt. M.O.D.O.K, or mental organism designed only for killing, centers around the egomaniacal supervillain with a really big head and a really little body, who struggles to maintain control of his evil organization and his demanding family. Personal and professional life.
I think it was, wasn't it? I'm going to get a drink. I was thinking, I got time till we get to the CBS section, but I will get one and make up for that soon.
Yes. Hitmonkey, which I've never heard of, will be written and executive produced by Josh Gordon and Will Speck. The show tells the tale of the wrong Japanese snow monkey, mentored by the ghost of an American assassin, as he cuts a wide swath through the Tokyo underworld.
This sounds fantastic.
I mean, yeah. And then Tigra and Dazzler hails from writers, executive producers Erica Rivanoya and Chelsea Handler. I was like, where did I know that name from?
I know that name.
Yeah, she's a presenter. She's got like a late night talk show kind of thing.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's like political talk stuff. There's no description for this one though. This one's a mystery, but
All right, fair enough.
yeah, there you go. So there's 4 animated shows coming from Hulu. And I think, to me, even if they don't end up picking up the stuff that was on Netflix, I think it says that, yeah, there's probably going to be some similar type content popping
In the
up.
future, yeah. What is interesting to me is it shows they're very clear, because obviously we know we're getting some Marvel stuff on Disney Plus, with the Loki one and the Scarlet Witch stuff. It's like, okay, interesting. They go, no. Anything that is that connected to the MCU, we're just keeping it at PG-13. It's fine.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's interesting. Whereas obviously the Netflix stuff always technically was part of the MCU, although I didn't really feel like it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, moving on to comedies then. We have Netflix has ordered an 8-episode series called Merry Happy Whatever, a holiday-themed multi-camera comedy starring and executive produced by Dennis Quaid. In the show, a strong-willed patriarch who must balance the demands of his complicated family with the stress of the Christmas season when his youngest daughter comes home for the holidays with a new boyfriend.
I'm good.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on the sense of humor. I think the weird thing about this is that I feel like this is the plot of like a Christmas comedy that you get in a movie.
But it's going to be a TV show instead.
It's going to be 8 episodes. I mean, it'll be 8.5 hours, so it'll be like what, 4 hours long.
Yeah, that's 2 Christmas movies though.
Essentially, yeah. I guess they could flesh some things out a little bit, like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Fox have ordered a single camera comedy called Adam and Eve. It's based on the French-Canadian format of the same name. It follows one couple at 3 stages of the relationship: young and passionate, middle-aged with kids, and navigating retirement. So it's going to have, I assume, different cast members for.
I would have assumed so, yeah.
For each time period.
Or just really extensive makeup work.
That is also possible. So there's that. I haven't really nothing to say about it other than.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure.
Idea, I suppose. Yeah.
ABC's got a few here though. ABC's ordered a single camera comedy pilot from Emmy-winning writer Jessica Gao. The Untitled series is about Janet Zhao. I remember talking about this actually. The first-generation Chinese-American woman who struggles to set a healthy boundaries with her crazy, exhausting family. When her wealthy grandmother dies and names Janet the sole inheritor, she suddenly finds herself the unwilling new matriarch of the family she spent her life trying to keep at arm's length. So.
Sounds like a comedy.
Family comedy, yeah. I mean, obviously, some of these pilot orders tend to be things we've spoken about before because they were in development and now they've been ordered to pilot.
Yeah.
So if they sound familiar, some of them will do.
But we speak about so many that it's easy to forget some of them.
This next one though is not a pilot. This is an in development story, which is weird this time of year. But that's
That is weird. Yeah.
ABC are developing a prequel to Blackish, which notably already has a spin-off on Freeform called Grownish.
Okay.
So, yeah, it would focus on Tracy Ellis Ross' character called Rainbow. A Rainbow-centric episode of the critically acclaimed comedy will film in March, and it will potentially serve as a backdoor pilot for the spin-off. So,
okay.
I assume it'll be a flashback episode then, and that'll set up the prequel.
Yeah. I assume at this point you call it rainbowish? I don't know. I don't know the show well enough to know the
colourful-ish. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea. You feel like at this point they have to call it ish. It's like something ish.
It has to be something ish. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not really.
That's the thing. If they hadn't named Grownish, that'd be fine.
They'd have let them off. Yeah.
But they've established it now with 2 shows. They have to do it.
Yeah.
So hey ho. ABC have ordered a pilot as well for an untitled multi-camera comedy with Leslie Odom Jr. set to star and executive produce. Inspired by the real-life progressive pastors Turi Roberts and Sarah Jake Roberts, the show revolves around Omari and Hope, who together run a modern ministry and share an even more eclectic and chaotic home life with combined 4 children. And that was kind of professional and personal
I'm
life.
drinking for that.
Yeah.
And for the record, viewers will have seen me drink at the start of this section for the last one.
Ah, yes. Because they cared so much.
Hey, out of my word.
ABC have ordered another pilot for a multi-camera hybrid comedy called Nana, starring Katie Sagal. After the death of his wife, an obsessive, overprotective dad is forced to invite his brash and bawdy mother-in-law, played by Katie Sagal, into his home to help raise the 2 granddaughters she barely knows. Also, what's funny is that, I mean, it makes sense given the time frame, but it's just funny now that she's playing a grandmother.
Yeah.
Because I grew up watching her play a mother, but I guess it makes sense now that I'm an adult that she would be a grandmother.
Yes, because many people your age have children.
Why do you say that as if you're not in a close enough age range that many people your age also have kids?
They do, just less of us. There's enough of a gap between us. I'll take that.
There's not that much of a difference between 25 and 29.
I will have you know I am 24? Yes, I'm 24. Screw you.
The fact that you had to think of that means that I have the last laugh. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because that's worlds of difference between those two ages. Worlds of difference.
Well, all I'm saying is you're going to be 30 before I'm 25.
Yeah, but you'll be 25 like soon after.
It's irrelevant.
5 years is nothing at this age.
It's enough.
Oh dear. Anyway, so CBS have got 3 multi-camera comedy pilots that have been ordered.
At the ready.
First up, Kevin Kwan, the author of Crazy Rich Asians, worked on the first one. It's called The Emperor of Malibu. In the series, when the son of a Chinese billionaire announces his engagement to an American woman, his outrageous family descends upon the couple to win their son back and test drive the American dream.
Okay, it's a family comedy. With a rich family.
Yes.
Isn't that just Crazy Rich Asians?
I don't know, I never saw it. But
I thought the whole thing of that was he was rich and she wasn't, and he took her to his family and they were all rich and posh.
Yes, but the network doesn't have the rights to use the name, so they had to call it something else.
Pretty much.
The next pilot is called the Unicorn. It's about a widower who is eager to move on from his most difficult year of his life. He realizes that he is utterly unprepared to raise his 2 daughters on his own, and equally unprepared for the dating world, where to his shock, he's suddenly a hot commodity.
Right, okay.
Single dad comedy, 2 daughters.
Yeah.
The thing. I guess he's the unicorn because he's a rare single dad.
I think so.
I think that's what it's getting at. Or he's got a really pointy penis. One of the two. The final pilot from CBS, from the comedies, they picked up Our House. Our House. It follows a devoted mum and dad who are committed to raising their children with the love and support of the mum that the mum never got as a kid, but to discover how difficult that is when her insane parents and siblings are back in the picture. It's a family comedy.
Yeah, it's a family comedy. Okay, those are all pretty standard. I'm a little cautious. There was a moment where you said, "Oh, in the last CBS pilot," and I went, "Oh, okay." And then you said in the comedies. And I went, oh, there is a section at the end.
I don't remember if there is or not, but that was just at the end of the comedies.
Okay.
But onto the dramas, though. So first up then, into the real meat of the show. FX has finally picked up Why the Last Man to series. It is officially ordered as a TV show.
I'm drinking just out of shock.
It's titled Why. The series traverses a post-apocalyptic world in which a cataclysmic event has decimated every male save for one lone human. That's inaccurate. There's also a monkey.
Should be, anyway.
One human and one monkey. Well, the monkey's kind of important to the plot the later the book goes, so I feel like the show has to have the monkey.
It should do, but they also are just calling it Why, so what do we know?
The New World Order of Women will explore gender, race, class, and survival. Diane Lane has been cast in Y as the mother. We also have more of a cast here announced to go with this. This is Barry Cohen, Imogen Poots, who I like a lot, actually. I'm glad this is quite cool. I wonder who she's playing. Is she playing Yorick's sister, or is she playing one of the other characters? I don't know. But you got Lashina Lynch, Juliana Canfield, Marin Ireland, and Amber Tamblyn have all been added. Because we've got the main cast, essentially, then, now. Yeah. So it seems like it's happening. It's finally happening after like 10 years in development hell.
I'm genuinely shocked. Stupid name still. We ranted about it at length when we heard about that news originally. Not going to get over that. But I mean, I've not read the book in general, but I know it's very well regarded.
I like it a lot. I've read the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Next up, Netflix have started production on Aries, their first Dutch original series.
Sign me up.
They announced this on Tuesday. Film's taking place in Amsterdam, blah, 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 filming, blah, blah. It's an eight episode story. It's a psychological horror. Aries stars, and just for the fun of it, I mean, I don't really need to read all these names, but I know people like when I try foreign names, so let's go
it's
for
funny.
it. Jade Oleberg, Tobias Kersloot, Lisa Smith, Robin Boissevain, and Frida Barnhard. Barnhard. It's a funny name.
That's a good name.
It's directed by Giancarlo Sanchez and Michael Ten Horn.
So do we know anything about it other than psychological horror?
Yes, we do. So the series centers on the world of secret student societies and in the heart of Amsterdam, where a best friends Rosa and Jacob surrender to a world of wealth and power. Soon they start to realize that they've entered into a demonic place, built on secrets from the country's past.
I like the demonic angle.
Yeah,
the first half I wasn't feeling too much.
I feel like hopefully that first chunk is just like the setup in the first episode, and then we get to the real meat of it, and
that's what I'm hoping there.
We get to the psychological horror part. But
if it's like mostly this stuff and there's elements of demons and stuff, I might struggle to enjoy this one.
It depends how well run it is. It depends.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, but on premise,
quality's everything, It
is.
Speaking of Netflix, they've ordered a drama series based on the Karen Slaughter novel. Karen Slaughter, what a name! I mean, maybe I should do them, admittedly, but
I'm sure that's a pen name, but well chosen.
So yeah, it's called Pieces of Her. So Netflix have ordered this. It's an 8-episode, possibly limited series, I imagine, given that it's based on a book. So in the series, when a Saturday afternoon trip to the mall with her mother suddenly explodes into violence, an adrift young woman's conception of her mother is forever changed. As figures from her mother's past start to resurface, she is forced to go on the run, and on that journey begins to piece together the truth of her mother's previous identity and uncovers secrets of her childhood.
Okay. Sounds a bit generic.
Yeah, it's one of these things where the quality, the acting, like who's in it, what's the style.
Yeah,
these things will kind of dictate how
it
this
will.
one feels.
On premise, it's a little bit generic, but I'm not against it.
Netflix have unveiled 5, count them, 5 Spanish original series.
Okay, Netflix hitting Spain hard.
Yes, so we have a bunch of.
Do you know what? I wonder if part of this is to do with. I know there's like EU legislation that says like streaming services like Netflix, a certain percentage of their content in any country has to be from that country, right? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if this is their way of like, well, we could acquire a bunch of stuff cheaply and that'll boost up the numbers, but we'll actually go in and actually produce stuff from those countries, because we've got a few German shows now, Spain.
I honestly think they probably want to do this anyway. That might have sped up the timetable a little bit.
Yeah, because that was just within the last 6 months or so that legislation passed.
But they were already like doing this like gradually.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe this is why they've got 5 of them at once. But
yeah,
So the first one comes from Nacho Vigalondo, who I didn't know the name, but it mentioned that he directed Time Crimes, and I'm like, oh, I've seen that movie. That was a fun movie.
Okay.
So this is I actually translated all these because all the titles were just in Spanish. The first one's El Vecino, which I looked up is The Neighbor. So it's based on a graphic novel from Spain. It centers on it stars Quinn Gutierrez, a man struggling at work and romance who receives special powers from an alien. It is a superhero, a down-to-earth superhero comedy, they're calling this.
Work and romance, does that count as personal and professional? Putting it back to back like that?
Technically it is, but I don't think I'd count it for what you usually drink for.
Alright, fine.
Because they kind of skim past it as a footnote.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, so superhero comedy. So yeah, that sounds like something we check out. The next one is Dias de Navidad, which is actually Christmas Days translated. I should use Google for these, by the way. So if they don't translate well, it's just because that's just the way.
Well, I know Navidad's Christmas, so.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I think it's Feliz Navidad is Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas.
Okay. So this is Yes. So it's four sisters celebrating Christmas in their family home during their adolescence, adulthood, and old age. So multiple
So
Christmases.
multiple, yeah,
Yeah.
3 time periods again.
Yeah. So sounds like you may hate it because you hate Christmas, but
Yeah, yeah,
who knows what the plot is though? I have no idea what the plot of that is. Obviously, these are very simple descriptions
yeah.
so
It could be
far
anything really.
because they've announced them as one big batch.
At least the first one we know was a comedy. Did they say
Yeah.
on that one?
No, no,
No. Okay.
nah. There was no indication of what
So
the
I haven't
tone
even got
would
a
be.
sense of tone of what that is.
This could be something where they all hate each other and try and kill each other or something. For
Could
all we
be.
know.
Yeah.
The next one is El Desordin Qui de Jazz. I probably butchered that pronunciation. This translates to the mess that you leave. So that would make it a better title, but when they actually decide what the English title is going
Translate
to
it.
be.
Yeah.
But it focuses on Raquel, a young literature teacher who moves back to her husband's hometown, which hides multiple secrets. It's been adapted by Carlos Montero from his prize-winning bestseller, so that's based on a novel.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then the next one is based on a fantasy novel trilogy. It's called Memories d'Idun, which is just literally memories of Idun. Idun is just the name of the place, so
Okay.
that one's easy enough. So it's a series of the same name. It is an anime-style series directed by Mate Ruiz d'Ostri. It's a magical tale of astrology, an evil necromancer, and a battle for freedom in the mythical land of Idun.
Okay, this one I'm more interested in.
Yeah, I figured you would be.
Spanish anime, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm just intrigued.
And the next one, the final one, in fact, is Valeria, which is just a name, so there's no translation required. It's a beautifully written female dramedy, they're calling this. It turns on a writer in crisis, her 3 best friends, and their whirlwind of emotions about love, friendship, jealousy, unfaithfulness, doubts, heartbreak, secrets, work, worries, joy, and dreams of the future. That's a lot of words. But,
Does not sound like one for us, does it?
No, it does not. But which, I mean, to their credit, it sounds like even for like a single country like Spain, they're making a diverse, batch of shows that appeal to different audiences.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, we say sometimes, "Oh, not for us," but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of stuff for us.
We don't love everything, and there's plenty of stuff that we do love. So it's not like we're coming up short. So that was Netflix with 5 Spanish originals.
Cool.
Next up is Amazon Prime, which has
With how many?
17 original series from various countries, including Britain, Germany, Italy, Spain, India, Japan, and Mexico.
Tell me we don't have all 17 listed.
Nah, we've got about 5 of them in terms of descriptions, but it's really funny though. 17.
Amazon making a play.
Oh, they are. The first one's The Power. This is from the UK. This is a 10-part series based on the book of the same name, which imagines a world in which men fear women rather than the reverse. So, it's an interesting high concept thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, okay. I mean, I need more to go on to be
yeah,
excited
but I
about
mean,
it,
at least
cool.
there's a buzz sentence there that I understand. I'm like, okay, right, you're going to shift the
I get
dynamics. I get it.
Yeah, but there's so many ways you could play that, right?
Yeah.
You could play that the horror because the way they describe fear there.
Yeah.
Or you could play as a comedy.
You could actually play that as a comedy. Yeah. It depends. I think they said it was a thriller, the book. So.
Okay, so that gives me something to go on.
Yeah.
There.
So I wouldn't say horror, but it seems like it's veering towards the darker side of it than anything else.
Cool.
The next one's El Presidente. This is from Mexico. Obviously it's just the president. I mean, I didn't need to look that one up.
Even I got that one.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So this is from Oscar-winning director Pablo Larraín. It is the true crime series that explores the FIFA corruption scandal from the angle of the small-time Chilean football club president who rises from obscurity to become a key player in a $150 million bribery conspiracy. Goes into production next year.
Now, that was a very interesting story. When it happened. Don't get me wrong. I'm not interested in true crime stuff though to watch. It's not really for me.
I'm not typically into it. I'm also very much not into anything relating to FIFA and football. So
it was just even to you if you read that story, you'd be going, how did this happen? It's just insane. Some of it. It's great stuff.
The next one is We Children of Bahnhof Zoo. We Children of Bahnhof Zoo. This comes from Germany, as the word Bahnhof would probably give you a clue to. It's written by Annette Hess and tells the story of Christine F and her dysfunctional friends as teenagers found themselves confronted with drugs in West Berlin in 1970. It's based on an autobiographical book that inspired a 1981 film called Christine F.
Okay. Sounds like it's going to play a bit more of like a crime drama.
Yeah. Again, different variety here. Next one is called The Last Hour. This comes from India. It is a supernatural thriller set in the Himalayan, in a Himalayan hill station, and that's all you get. And I'm like, you know what? I like the sound of that.
I mean,
Secluded location on the Himalayan hills. Yep.
supernatural thriller.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm into
Yeah,
this.
I'm inherently at least a little bit interested on that one.
Yeah. It's created by Amit Kumar, who worked on Monsoon Shootout, which I've never heard of, but I will take the word for it.
Credit to both Amazon and Netflix here for really giving us some diverse content.
Yeah. And the last one we've got a description for here from this Amazon list is an Italian series, which is untitled, but it's going to be written by Nicola Gorgiglione, I'll say, and Menotti. One word for that person's name. Very posh. So it's a crime drama set in Milan in the late 1980s and tells the story of a shy, insecure teenager who becomes the youngest member of the mafia in order to win the love of her father. So,
Okay. Again, interests me a little bit less because crime drama, but
yeah,
sure.
it's not something we typically are into outside of like some particular examples of high quality.
Yeah,
But,
but
there you go.
I like that both these streaming services are offering all these things from different cultures. Because I mean, hell, just this last we've been loving Kingdom.
Yeah, no, it's actually fun to get TV shows from other countries because, well, I've been watching foreign films for like 15 years now at this point. Hell, well, that's 15 years. I'm not that old yet. I appreciate the chance to get to foreign TV shows because I feel like that didn't really happen. I remember like, when The Killing became a thing, some people were like watching the original, the Danish series, but it was few and far between. You very rarely got them.
There wasn't. I mean, there was often not a easy way to legally watch these things, basically, because broadcasters were like, "Well, no one wants to watch this. What's the point?" They don't want to pay for the rights. Whereas these services that are international are like, "Well, hang on, we've got the home market with that territory anyway. Anything else is a bonus for those watching it."
So, and I'll take us on though to the next thing, which is HBO is developing a one-hour drama series called Dirty 30. Which comes from Courtney A. Kemp. Set in present-day New York, the project is inspired by a true story of a gang of bad cops operating out of New York's 30th precinct in the 1990s. So, I mean, it's based on a thing from the 1990s, but it's set in present day. It begins as a story of a cop family and ends in the story of a crime wave infecting the highest levels of municipal government, corrupting the justice system, and defining a city. So here's the thing, if this was on a network...
You'd write it off immediately.
I'd write it off immediately. Being on HBO... Now, this is obviously a really high bar to set it up against, but when I think of some of the things it's talking about there in that description, I think of The Wire, which is HBO, right? Now, obviously, it's not the same people behind it, it's not the same creators, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be any good or even close to that kind of quality.
But you can see how HBO are going, we want it to be the next one of those.
I can see how on HBO this could actually be a really good show that does appeal to me, despite the fact that I don't typically get into this type of concept.
And this thing, I don't disagree with anything you just... I really like the title, though, by the way. I don't disagree with anything that you said, but I'm never going to be excited for this until I see it. And that's pretty good.
I agree.
Like even if I'm like, it's HBO, it's got potential, right? Because they tend to pump money into things.
I agree. I'm not excited as of yet, but this is the low key thing like the Deuce that could just sort of spring up.
It could
when it gets to time for it to come out and be like, oh, we'll try the first episode. And I'll be like, oh shit, this is like high quality stuff.
It could absolutely.
So HBO gets a little bit of I don't know Courtney A. Kemp. I don't know her to know if she's worth being excited about. So sticking with HBO, they're developing a half-hour show. This is in the dramas though, because it doesn't sound like it's a comedy by any means. This is a half-hour sci-fi, I think. Yeah. So HBO is developing They Both Die at the End, which is being produced by J.J. Abrams and the other two co-creator Chris Kelly. So Abrams, actually, it's worth mentioning, he had a pickup from HBO last year, the sci-fi show Demamondi, which is still happening. That was picked up last year. They're just it's been worked on. I
vaguely remember, yeah.
Yeah, it's happening. We might see that before the end of the year, actually. given when it get picked
possible,
up.
yeah.
Possible. Maybe an early 2020 show. But They Both Die at the End is set in the near future, where everyone receives a bureaucratic phone call notifying them at the start of their last day on Earth. It follows a seemingly disparate group of people as they live their scary, funny, weird, hopeful, romantic, and unexpected final hours, all connected through the two teenage boys at the heart of the novel. So, I think it's based on a
book.
On a book, yeah.
That is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
It's a little bit Logan's Run, although it doesn't sound like it doesn't imply that they're killing them though, because in Logan's Run, like everyone gets killed at 30, but like they're doing it.
And I think the difference is that's where pretty much your whole life, right?
Yeah.
This is okay. You wake up one day and go, "This is your last day. What are you gonna do?"
It's like jury duty, but worse.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe worse. Depends on your preference. Is death better than jury duty?
It really does depend on who you ask.
Here's
like
the trick.
concept.
See, when they're screening you for jury duty, you just be as weird as possible, so they'll never pick you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be as weird as possible.
Just pretend you've got some sort of bias.
Anyway, so yeah, it's called They Both Die at the End. So it's a good title, actually.
It is, yeah.
It's interesting. So they're developing that. So yeah, HBO with more content that's of interest. Next up, Hulu is developing a series based on the book The Devil in the White City. We've actually spoken about this before, I think. Although this is a development article, which would imply we haven't spoken about this. I wonder if this was in development as a movie at some point, and that's why we talked about it.
Or if it was just a production company developing it before Hulu have got involved now.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe like the production company were developing it and we spoke about it, and now Hulu's attached, so it's relevant again. So this is the DiCaprio and Scorsese produced show. They're not going to be in it or directing.
That already sounds familiar.
I don't think. So this is the story of two men, an architect and a serial killer. This is the Chicago World Fair of 1983. You get Daniel H. Burnham, a brilliant and fastidious architect. That's a word I don't get to say that often.
No, you don't. It's not a regular occurrence.
Racing to make his mark in the world, and Henry H. Holmes, a handsome and cunning doctor who fashioned his own pharmaceutical murder castle on the fairgrounds. I know more about this than I would have, because an episode of Timeless taught me a lot about this.
Yeah. But what a great phrase is that, pharmaceutical murder castle.
Yeah, I'm into this. I'm into this potentially of him like building his maze of horrors.
Murder castle. I want one of those.
So yeah, Hulu's working on this now. So
I'm pretty sure we have spoken about it before, because I remember the DiCaprio and Scorsese being involved. So I imagine that's when we first heard about it. They're looking at developing it.
But yeah, we're getting closer to that being a thing now, because Hulu's on. So speaking of Hulu, though, they've ordered 2 other shows to series, Reprisal and The Great. A lot of this is coming from the TCAs. This is why there's so much news this week, because the TCAs were on. And there was some small things that I didn't put in the news where they just mentioned things in passing about stuff. So yeah, they're coming this year or something like that. There wasn't
nothing interesting.
Well, I mean, Amazon assured us that The Expanse was coming in 2019 rather.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I think they got all the seasons hit on Amazon last week.
Yeah. I think when I built up my PlayStation now, it tells me that they're all on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean. Good for them.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. So Reprisal, which will launch this year, is described as a hyperkinetic revenge tale following a relentless femme fatale played by Abigail Spencer. Speaking of Timeless. I don't even mean that.
They just hand you to them sometimes, don't you?
They just handed it to me. Who, after being left for dead, leads a vengeful campaign against a bombastic gang of gearheads.
Okay.
As a limited show, I'm kind of into, a femme fatale killing people at revenge show. I could be into this.
Yeah, some strong direction. I'm all in.
I could be into this. The other show the greenlit was called The Great, which will trace the rise of Catherine the Great through the 18th century Russia. The series will launch in 2020, and it stars Ellie Fanning as Catherine, and Nicholas Hoult is in it as well. So
I feel like we've spoken about this one before, because this sounds really familiar to me.
In development, but this is the official. It's happening.
Yeah. I'm pretty interested in this one. Obviously, it's less your sort of thing. It's got to win you over a bit more, with it being a period drama of any kind.
Yeah, I'm probably going to hate this, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. And then finally, Hulu has acquired the American rights, and I want to tell you right now before I say this, I did not alter the language of this in any way. This is exactly how it was written, but it made me laugh.
Okay.
Hulu has acquired the hit Israeli vampire series, Judah.
They did not.
This is how it was written. This was I think this might have been Deadline. This was how it was written.
Judah. Judah. Do you say?
Judah. Juda.
Okay.
Are you corroborating this? You really don't believe me?
I am, because did you say Deadline?
If it wasn't Deadline, it was Variety. It was one of those two.
Okay, hang on. I've got a Variety article from a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, I assume this was hit Israeli vampire. God damn it. The writer of this article, who is it? Elsa Kislassi. I think she's a fan. I think they're watching us.
I'm going to take it as a happy coincidence, but yes. So yeah, we have a hit vampire show, which is funny because I guess in Israel, this is the hit vampire show, but in most of the world, it's the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Just for the record.
I can't even be mad at this one. This isn't even. I wanted to be mad that you put that in there,
no.
just so you have your own link. Damn it.
Do you know what's funny? I almost didn't put this in the news.
But then you saw that sentence.
Because it was they got the rights to air the Israeli show, right, on Hulu in the US, right? However, there is news attached to this about someone, we don't know who, but apparently they've also sold the rights to a studio for the US remake rights. So that is actually genuine news, but I almost didn't put it in, but I couldn't resist putting it in because of that first sentence.
Damn it, Elsa.
Yeah, so yeah, the series is set in the criminal underworld and tells the story of Judah, a low-life gambler who borrows money from the French mafia for a seat at the high-stakes Romanian poker game and wins big. But he ends up being robbed and bitten by a seductive vampire, who winds up on her own path to mortality because she has unwittingly broken a sacred rule of her ancestors by drinking Jewish blood. So someone's going to remake this. We don't know who yet, though, but someone's bought the rights to remake it.
Yeah, sounds interesting enough, though.
And the original show is going to be on Hulu. So,
Sure.
There you go. That's Judah, the hit vampire show.
God damn it.
See, if it just said the hit show and it was something else, I wouldn't really have thought it was funny. But it was because it was a vampire
It's
show.
a vampire. Yeah, I know.
Next up, then, we have... Where's this? Oh, so this is interesting. This was a show that was in development at Sci-Fi. However, USA Network has picked up the show.
This doesn't happen to be that one that was going to be one or the other and then went to Sci-Fi.
No. Because there's been a couple that have been like that. It's been like, oh, it's going to be one or the other. They've not decided yet. This one was specifically Sci-Fi and has changed to USA Network. Clearly showing you that those two networks, basically, because they're both Universal, right? So clearly they're just kind of like developing stuff side by side and then saying, okay, that'll fit better with us, or that'll fit better with you, or whatever.
I'll be honest, I'm inherently more excited for the ones that go to Sci-Fi.
That's true. This one sounds more like a sci-fi show, I think, from what I read earlier. So yeah, it's an adaptation of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. It's been ordered to series, straight to series order. Brave New World imagines a utopian society that has achieved peace and stability through the prohibition of monogamy, privacy, money, family, and history itself. As citizens of New London, Bernard Marx and Lenina Crown have only ever known a rigid social order, a perfect pharmaceutical called Soma, and a culture of instant gratification and ubiquitous sex. That was a hell of a sentence to get through. Curious to explore life beyond the structures of their society, the two New Worlders embark on a vacation to the savage lands, where they become embroiled in a harrowing and violent rebellion. Bernard and Lenina are rescued by John the Savage, who escapes with them back to New London. John's arrival in the New World soon threatens to disrupt its utopian harmony, leaving Bernard and Lenina to grapple with the repercussions. The three become entwined in a fraught relationship that awakens them to the dangers of their own conditioning.
There's a lot of things in there I like.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a few things that I go, okay.
It does sound more like a sci-fi show, right, though?
I can see it on USA as well, though. I can.
It's a science fiction concept, though.
It is. I can see it being a lot drier on USA. I can see it's being a lot more trashy on Sci-Fi.
Unless they hit that Mr. Robot juice.
I mean, it's not impossible that it could happen again, but it's without Esmail.
Yeah, it's not Esmail, so it's probably not. Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think Esmail was the one that caused that. Nothing to do with USA, just happy coincidence.
Yes. So next up, AMC has ordered a short series. It's called 61st Street. This is from Peter Moffat, as well as being produced by Michael B. Jordan. Set in present-day Chicago, 61st Street follows Moses Johnson, a promising high school athlete who is swept up into the infamously corrupt Chicago criminal justice system. Taken by the police as a gang member, he soon finds himself in the eye of a storm as the police and prosecutors seek revenge for the death of an officer during a drug bust gone wrong. So,
have we spoken about this before? Sounds quite familiar.
I think we probably did, but it's been picked up to series now.
Okay.
So
sounds like it could be alright. AMC though, I mean, doesn't excite me as much.
It's kind of like USA Network with Esmail. It's AMC. If it's Gilligan, then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not like I'm writing AMC off incompletely. I think I'm more willing to give AMC a chance than I am USA.
Yes.
But at the same time, yeah, they kind of have that level of just like, there's something that often the quality just doesn't quite get where I want it to be. It feels AMC.
Freeform, your favourite network.
Oh yeah, that has me way more excited.
Home to the hit TV show Siren. They're developing a drama series based on the book Make Your Home Among Strangers by Janine Capo-Crochet. So the project is described as a cross-generational drama that follows both Cuban-American girl who struggles in her freshman year at an elite New England college and the chaotic family she leaves behind in Miami, all set against the backdrop of the explosive Elian Gonzalez trial in the 1990s. The series explores issues of identity, race, and class in America. This doesn't sound like a freeform show, does it? This sounds like a heady drama.
If you told me that was USA,
yes,
I'd probably have believed you more.
Or honestly, any network almost.
Well, yeah.
Freeform just feels like a weird. I mean, I guess it's a sign they're trying to do different things.
It is, yeah.
Because the other news for Freeform is they've also ordered the series of Party of Five, the reboot, which they were planning. We spoke about that a while ago.
Oh yeah.
It's the 5 kids who are left on their own when their parents get deported. So, so they've ordered that too. So even Freeform's got a couple of things this week.
Yeah, big week.
Big week indeed. So we're on to Fox, who I believe have ordered a bunch of stuff, actually.
Of course they have.
I feel like there was a lot of Fox here. So Fox has picked up a drama pilot based on the Australian series called Sisters. You'll remember this one when I tell you what it is. In the untitled drama, the only child, Julia Beckley, and her has a life turned upside down when it's revealed that her father, a pioneering Nobel Prize-winning fertility doctor, has been using his own sperm to conceive dozens and dozens of children over the course of his career. Reeling from this explosive revelation, Julia discovers her 2 new sisters. One is her former best friend. That's a coincidence. And one is an ex-Olympic athlete. Against all odds, the women attempt to form an untraditional family and lean on each other as they grapple with their own identity crisis.
Yeah, I do remember it. I have only one question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this now untitled? Clearly, Sisters is the perfect title for it.
That's a bit generic, though.
It is, but it works. I don't think they're going to get anything better.
I feel like there's a pun you can have with fertility.
You should not be making fertility puns as the title of your show. You just shouldn't. Honestly, you shouldn't really be making any puns as your titles. Don't age well.
It should be called All That Jizz.
Right, we're done here. End the show. What's the point?
Next up from Fox, they're developing, not a pilot order, they're developing a one-hour drama called Talent to be written and executive produced by the Americans and Justified executive producer Graham Yoss. So yeah, he's got some cred behind him. Americans did really well, people like Justified. This is Sony Pictures Television. Original film in Boom Studios who are behind this. It is about a woman, Nicole Dane, who wakes up in a hospital only to discover that she is the sole survivor of an accident that killed 148 people. And it's not a remake of Unbreakable.
I was just about to
There's a swerve to this. I
was waiting to crack a joke.
As rumours about Nicole's miraculous survival begin to circulate, she discovers that she has inherited the talents of those who died in the crash. So she's got 148 like talents from people that she didn't have before, and she must use her newfound abilities and second chance at life to bring closure to their unfinished stories and solve the mystery of the accidents. There's also a mystery of how it happened.
I can see how every episode is, oh, I got this talent from this person.
Yes. Well, there's enough there for 148 episodes. That's a good 7 seasons.
All right, it's a starting point.
And then you can bring some talents back, yes.
I can't wait after the first 30 or 40 when they're really stretching for, all right, what are these talents now? What have we got?
She's really good at making fart noises with her armpit. That's the only one.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how that ties into a whole episode.
That may have to be a pilot watch. I don't know. Sounds interesting. But speaking of Fox pilots, they've ordered a pilot for a drama called Next, which is all lowercase except the X, which is not an X-Men show.
I was about to question.
You'd be forgiven for thinking this is an X-Men thing. So it's called Next. It is described as a fact-based thriller grounded in the latest AI research. Oh, this is going to be great.
I think we've heard about this.
It features a brilliant but paranoid former tech CEO who joins a Homeland cybersecurity agency and her team and her that's a weird sentence. Who joins a Homeland Security agent? Yeah, there's something weird about this sentence. Who joins a Homeland Cybersecurity agent? It actually is the agency because it didn't make sense, assuming that was the typo, right? But if I do that, then it says and her team to stop. So there's something missing. There's
No, joins a Homeland Security agent and her team.
No, but she's the her.
Read it again.
If it's a brilliant but paranoid former tech CEO who joins a Homeland cybersecurity agent and her team. Oh no, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the her was her. Like I thought the her was the person we're talking about.
No. The agent is the her.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense.
You made that weird by trying to correct it.
I did, because it didn't make sense to me when I was reading that. Never mind. So her and her team, and they have to stop the world's first artificial intelligence crisis, an emergence of a rogue AI with the ability to continuously improve itself. I like this concept. I don't necessarily trust Fox to give me a good show out of this, but I do like the idea.
This is a pretty topical, because there's one, I just saw today, and it's these creators of an AI. I think it was related with Musk, one of his stuff. And they went, yeah, we can't release this into the world. It's too dangerous.
I'm glad they're thinking about that, though.
Yeah, they're aware of the line.
I'm glad they're aware of that.
Concerning that they're at that stage already. I'm
glad they're aware that Sky. Well, I mean, Terminator told us it was going to happen in '97, so they're actually a little bit late.
Just a bit.
A little bit late, but not ridiculously late though. It's still kind of within,
Yeah, it's only 20 years.
All right, so that's next. Fox have also ordered a pilot for Deputy. That sounds like your sort of thing, doesn't it? Which hails from former writer and executive producer Will Beall. In the series, Deputy Bill Hollister is a career lawman who's very comfortable kicking down doors, but utterly lost in a staff meeting. But when the LA County Sheriff drops dead, Bill becomes acting sheriff for all of Los Angeles County, in charge of 10,000 sworn deputies policing a modern Wild West.
Damn it, they didn't do it. It sounds generic as hell, though.
It does, yeah, it does. Which takes us on to the final story of the week.
Is it CBS?
Fox have ordered a pilot.
Oh, God damn it. I poured this for no good reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of Fox. What can I say?
Well, I mean, I'll drink it anyway, but...
Fox have ordered a pilot for an untitled drama from writer and executive producer Tom Capinos. It is described as a structurally inventive dramedy in which the entire first season takes place over the course of a single night at a wedding. As we get to know the wedding party, we'll learn surprising reveals about both their present and past lives. We'll see that things aren't always what they seem and explore the complicated bonds of love, friendship, and family at different stages in life.
I mean, this is just the last season of How I Met Your Mother, where the whole season was just that wedding weekend.
But it could be better.
No, that was a pretty good season.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I know. There's the actual ending that people have a problem with, and I get that. But the season as a whole is mostly pretty good.
Fair enough. I gave up long before it got to that last season.
Yeah. You're an awful person as well.
But yeah, that is the news this week. I have to admit, I thought we may get close to 2 hours tonight, and we haven't. It's been more like an hour 20. I think by the time we're wrapped up, but
yeah,
reasonable
reasonable
enough.
Yeah.
But hey, so that's the news. So yeah, there actually is stuff starting and happening. Actually, I've not even thought about when this is going up because we're recording it a day early. I don't know if it's actually going up a day early though, because there's still content going up tomorrow that normally goes up.
There is, isn't there?
But if news drops tomorrow night,
then we'll look weird.
well, look, we're idiots who have missed news.
Yeah. So for the record, we are recording this on a Thursday evening.
Yes, this is Thursday night, and normally this goes up early Saturday if we record in the usual time of Friday night. Although sometimes if it's late, it'll maybe be the Sunday. So yeah, I didn't actually think about that because TV Multiverse is going up on Friday, and we're going to have new pilots to talk about because we're going to be doing an individual review for Doom Patrol, which after the first episode will be part of the Television from the Multiverse podcast every week.
Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't mention it at the start of the show when we were talking about, I didn't make you watch it. There was a proper trailer, though, like an extended trailer.
Oh, no, I saw that as well. There's like a 4.5 minute trailer. I decided not to watch it because we're going to watch the pilot tomorrow. So
I watched the first, 40 seconds just to see if it was like a proper trailer. And, yeah, it looks pretty good.
Okay. That's cool. So as I say, the first episode, much like we did with Krypton and Black Lightning, we'll get a standalone video review on YouTube. But the reviews after episode 1 will be just a part of the Television for the Multiverse podcast. The first one will be as well. The first one will be edited into that next week's podcast. But from then on, it'll be just in that show. Of course, if you want the audio version, it'll be in just that podcast as well next week. But that is Doom Patrol from DC Universe. We also have a new Netflix show starting tomorrow, which is The Umbrella Academy. So we'll be doing the first episode of that. That'll be up by the end of Friday as well.
I'm really quite. I've been reading the comic over the past week or so.
Yeah, why did you go and do that right before the show
Because it was on
launched?
sale and I was intrigued.
Now you know where it's going, though. We can't
Honestly,
theorize anything.
I don't know about that because I've read the first, because it's split into miniseries. So I've read the first one and the first issue of the second one, and I'm seeing stuff in the trailers that are massively taken from the second one already, that wasn't in the first one at all. So it's kind of all just it's doing its own. It's not like a straight adaptation of just this story.
Okay.
And tough shit. I wanted to read it.
It's just weird to do it right before. I accept if you'd read it months ago or years ago, whatever.
Yeah, it was on sale and I wanted to read it. What are you going to do?
Literally a week before the show starts, you're like, oh, I'm going to read the comic. Oh.
Yeah, because it looks good. And I'm like, yeah, go on then. Now's as good a time as any.
Yeah, but now it makes our conversations weird. That's the weirdness of it.
Well, it's on you for not reading it then, isn't it?
Your logic is stupid.
Yeah.
So Umbrella Academy starting episode 1 of that and episode 1 of Doom Patrol will both be reviewed and up. Because they're both launching, it does mean Star Trek Discovery this week will be a day late. It'll be Saturday night before Star Trek Discovery's review goes up, but it is coming. Don't worry about it. It's on its way. It's actually nice. It's probably the first week in a while we've had multiple shows to review. So that's delightful.
It is. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. We just finished Kingdom. The final review of that will have been up by the time this goes up for sure. So you can check out our reviews for that. So season 1 of that's done. And that's pretty much everything TV-wise coming up, I think. On the next week or so.
I'm just having a glance. Looks to be.
Cool. So that's the plans. So it's worth mentioning, actually, there's something notable to mention about our Patreon. Obviously, I usually plug Patreon at the end and say, hey, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You can support us for as little as $1. What's interesting and why I think it's relevant to really point this out right now is that we have goals in Patreon. When we hit certain amounts, it'll unlock a new thing that we'll do. And the next goal we're going to hit is Firefly. They already cancelled for Firefly, where we'll review all that show and do the movie over a few months' time. And the reason why we're mentioning that is because the goal for that is $200. We are currently sitting at $199.
Yeah.
So if you really want that Firefly set of reviews, you can go unlock it pretty easily.
For as little as $1.
Yes.
You will get Firefly.
Yeah, so you'll have to stay there for a couple of months while it's been done, but you can get
all the other
Firefly.
stuff, all the extra. I mean, there's 6 months of extra episodes there now, and then all the other content, the week early Star Treks. You still get all that on top of it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff you get for $1. In fact, starting in March, me and Tim are going to be doing an exclusive bonus episode of Screams After Midnight once per month in the $1 tier. So there's a lot of stuff in that $1 tier now. So you can have a look at that. You can, of course, sort of buy merchandise if you wish. There's links in the description to both the US and the UK stores, and you can get yourself a hoodie or a shirt or something. You can, of course, get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz. You can get me on Twitter at Wibble89, get Connor on Twitter at ConnorRyan94. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?